wait a minute. If villains fight each other, who is left for the heroes to fight?
I guess whoever wins? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda McKnight, aka VampX13, but you can call me Vampy.
And I'm Adam Andrews, and today we're giving you more of what you love as we count down the top 10 strongest villains who fought each other.
Again, because this is part 2. If you missed part 1, be sure to check that out. Adam honestly crushed it.
Hey, thanks, Amanda. What villains do you want to see face off?
Let us know in the comments.
Number 10, Venom vs. Sandman. In Peter Parker's Spider-Man Volume 1, Number 16, Sandman took to reforming the Sinister Six to go after Spider-Man. Now, one of those six was Eddie Brock, aka Venom. Venom now has a vendetta against the Sinister Six, though, because they embarrassed him pretty badly. Now, during their scuffle that took place inside the Daily Bugle, things quickly take a turn for the choppy as Venom takes a huge chunk out of Sandman's body, digesting it, and this causes Sandman to destabilize and break down. Unable to stop himself from falling apart, Sandman heads for the hills, leaving Venom to fight Spider-Man alone. It's a pretty awful and pretty quick loss for Sandman, who does eventually return, but not as his old self, as the years spent separated from his corporeal form left his mind in tatters.
And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, be sure to show us you love us by checking out our playlist. We got a villain playlist as well, so if you like villains, we got you. Number 9, Morgan Le Fay versus Dr. Doom. Morgan Le Fay and Dr. Doom have faced off before, and honestly, when it comes to like who would win here, I feel like either could take down their opponent. I might even honestly give the edge to Morgan Le Fay when it comes to just like raw power and magical skill, but what he might lack in raw power, Doom certainly makes up for in ingenuity. Le Fay's mistake was going to attack Doom in his own time, because she is from the past. Using the time cube he then acquired, he was able to use this fact against her to defeat her, sending her on a one-way ticket home to the Middle Ages. Sort of. I mean, she would actually have to like fight her way back to her time too. It's pretty wild. In fact, Doom actually could have even probably destroyed her here, but he either chose not to because perhaps a part of him still, I don't know, had romantic feelings for her, or because she herself was tied to him through time, so doing so would maybe cause him to be harmed or something like that.
Number 8, Joker vs. Red Skull. Now look, the Joker is a maniac, an absolutely insane criminal lunatic, but hey, he is an American criminal lunatic, which means dealing with someone with the past of the Red Skull is an absolute no-no for him. Yes, these two villains teamed up together in the Batman and Captain America team-up special back when DC and Marvel actually got along with each other. Now naturally, these heroes' two greatest villains team up to take them on, but I guess it turns out that even the Joker is above the morals of a World War II era war criminal. The Red Skull hires the Joker to steal an atomic doomsday device, which the Clown Prince of Crime totally agrees to do, until he sees Red Skull waltz out with a certain symbol front and center on his outfit, indicating his involvement in World War II, which is then confidently confirmed by the Red Skull. This is when the Joker delivers the line about being an American criminal lunatic, and the two simultaneously attack each other, Joker with his venom and Red Skull with his dust of death, which they are both immune to. This is when Joker then gets smacked over the back of the head with a wrench. Eventually, the fight makes it onto a plane where the Joker overpowers Red Skull and they both go tumbling down through the sky alongside the atomic device that they stole, destroying them both in the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know if I'm shocked at Joker switching sides or at the fact that they had a fist fight while straddling on top of an active fat boy. It's one of the two.
Number 7, Magneto vs. Uranos. One of my favorite fights of recent times. Magneto vs. Uranos is honestly an epic fight. And yes, Magneto is technically a hero at that point in his story, but he certainly started as a villain, and I really love this fight, and this is in part my list, so I'm gonna count it. Okay? Magneto and Uranos came to blows when the Eternals, the race of superpowered beings, not the superhero group themselves, decided that all mutants were actually also deviants and decided to declare war on them as a result. Current Prime Eternal Druig let out Uranos, one of the worst of the Eternal prisoners, to wreak havoc on Mars, aka now planet Arakko, for 1 hour, to help Druig in defeating the mutants. During this time, Uranos severely, and I mean severely, messed up Magneto, but while he thought he'd killed Magneto, he was wrong. long, and Magneto, teamed up with Storm, would return to take Uranos down the next time they came to blows. At the time, the fight cost Magneto his life, and it was an epic battle. You can check it out in the AXE event in the X-Men Red tie-in issue in issue number 5, and AXE Judgment Day issue number 4.
Number 6. Magneto versus the Red Skull. Now this is not really a fight, it's more like a total domination. Magneto and the Red Skull are on opposite sides of history. Magneto grew up in a Jewish family living in Germany during World War II, and we all know Red Skull and Hydra's stance in World War II Germany. So it's safe to say that these two villains will almost never get along. But in Acts of Vengeance from 1989, Magneto and Red Skull were actually temporarily united. But it's really important to note that Magneto was unsure whether this was the Red Skull that aided Germany in the mass wipeout of his people. So Magneto confronted Red Skull, and Red Skull confirmed that he was indeed the original. And just like that, it didn't take much for Magneto, the Master of Magnetism, to overpower the Skull. But unlike what you might think, Magneto does not take his life. Instead, the Red Skull wakes up in a pitch-black bunker with Magneto turning a flashlight on him as he monologues at him about how ending his life would just make Magneto no better than a common killer, no better than Red Skull. And then he reminds him how he is much better than Red Skull. Magneto explains Skull's new situation: solitary confinement in a stripped-down fallout shelter 20 feet underground with no ladder to the escape hatch, 10 gallons of water he is going to have to conserve, and Magneto rips out Skull's homing transmitters. He gives him no food, no light, just water and air, and he leaves him to wish that Magneto had just ended his life. Nice.
Number 5. Kang vs. Thanos. While in the main continuity, Kang has sometimes been shown to be kind of terrified of Thanos, which honestly, reasonable, there are a few counterpoints that we have to prove that Kang may actually be the one who comes out on top if these two ever had to dramatically face off, which many out there I know are hoping they'll do in the MCU. Me, while I enjoy a good supervillain face-off as much as the next person, I don't necessarily believe in power scaling, so I don't really need this fight to happen per se, but even I wouldn't say no if it was like offered to me on a platter. Just because I think it would be a cool fight, honestly. Kang has been shown to have defeated multiple alternate reality Avengers teams in the comics, something that he's actually alluded to as well in the MCU in Quantumania with simply his own 2 hands, which puts him at a higher level, I would say, than Thanos in regards to his ingenuity and his resourcefulness. After all, Thanos was dependent on Infinity Stones or Infinity Gems, if you prefer the classic term, to do this. Although that being said, I don't think he needs Infinity Gems to win the day. However, in Mech Strike issue number 4, which takes place in an alternate reality, Kang also made quick work of Thanos, who was fighting with the alternate reality team of mech-wielding Avengers. Kang, being a master of time, used that time to age Thanos, reducing him to bones within a few quick and brutal panels.
In at number 4 today is Thrag vs. Battle Beast. Now, some people may come for me here saying that Battle Beast is a hero. Some would agree that he is a villain. I'd say that Battle Beast fights for his own reasons on both sides, as long as it serves his goal. And what is that goal? He lives to find his equal and better in combat so that they can bring the end of his life in an honorable battle. The Viltrumites from the Invincible series are a race of near invulnerable, incredibly strong, world-conquering aliens, but none among them stands as strong, as invulnerable, as Grand Regent Thrag. Battle-hardened over thousands of years, only the most powerful characters can even hope to stand one-on-one against this powerhouse, and this makes him the perfect opponent for Battle Beast, and their fight is intense. Now, the Coalition of Worlds organized the use of Ragnars, which are one of the only species of aliens who have proven strong enough to take down Viltrumites. Battle Beast was told that they would only be released if he failed to take down Thrag, so when they were released right at the start of the fight and gave Thrag a massive wound, Battle Beast was actually incredibly peed off, and had decided to stop fighting Thrag and instead help him to defeat the Ragnars so that they could have a fair fight, which Thrag even remarks was kinda stupid. But not only did he take away his own advantage, but he even injured himself in the same way Thrag had been injured, just so he wouldn't have an unfair advantage. This fight continued in the background of the entire next issue, and it didn't actually end until 5 issues later when Thrag finally claimed victory. It's definitely one of the best fights of the entire series.
Number 3, Darkseid vs. Imperiex. Although these two didn't face head on, there was a time when Darkseid and the villain Imperiex fought against one another. Granted, Darkseid did so while teamed up with the Justice League. He did so to seemingly help save Earth, but in reality he had ulterior motives that were much more sinister because he's still Darkseid. If you thought Darkseid was deadly, Imperiex may have actually been even more so. While Darkseid wants to rule the universe, Imperix's sole purpose is basically to destroy it. Darkseid, however, hoped to defeat Imperiex so that he might steal his energy and use it to conquer everything. But then, Brainiac 13 beat him to that, and so Darkseid was forced to assist fully in defeating Imperiex. And basically, forgo his own plan. He's like, dang it, Brainiac, you beat me to it.
Number 2, Thanos vs. Darkseid. When the story of Marvel vs. DC was being planned out, publishers from both sides made decisions for how certain battles would conclude, but they also allowed fans to determine the outcome of certain battles as well. So as you can imagine, the battle between what is arguably DC and Marvel's biggest bad guys ever left fans rather divided, with the two often being compared and contrasted, and even claims that one is a copy of another. This battle was a long time coming. It was an interesting one, kind of told in little snippets throughout the 4 issues of the story. We see them first come face to face, and then Thanos approaches the battle with a pretty respectable threat against the ruler of Apokolips. Darkseid, on the other hand, dropped all sense of mutual respect, and he straight up called Thanos a pale imitation of himself. Kind of a sick burn. Then later on, Darkseid 6 Lobo on Thanos before coming to face him properly. Then their fight is interrupted by the heroes showing up to intervene, and then the whole merging of the two universes is settled by the fighting entities of the Living Tribunal and the Spectre. So we don't even definitively get an end here. Now I gotta be honest though, I do believe that Darkseid would win 9 times out of 10. He just has way more going for him than Thanos does, and that's saying a lot. Now if you disagree, feel free to drop a comment and tell me why, because I am curious to know.
Number 1, Batman Who Laughs vs. Perpetua. When you think about just who Batman Who Laughs is on paper, it doesn't sound insanely strong. But then you consider how wild his mind would be if we took, Bruce Wayne, Batman, and we took the Joker and we combined those two people. And just what he would then be capable of. And yeah, kinda does make sense. Perpetua is literally one of the most powerful beings in the DC multiverse, so honestly that's a given. These two duked it out near the end of Dark Knight's death metal, and surprisingly, Batman Who Laughs was able to turn the tables on Perpetua, sealing her back in the Source Wall before shattering it and thereby destroying her.
Well, nerds, that is all the time we got left.
Fear not, you can catch us next time right here on Top 10 Nerd.
I'm Adam Andrews.
And I'm Amanda McKnight. And till next time, friends, you stay nerdy, YouTube.
Peace out, nerds.
Bye.